Moving into Tuesday's lesson, our objective is to multiply rational numbers with the distributive property. So this distributive property, remember that the distributive property is basically when we multiply what's inside the parentheses by what's outside the parentheses. So distributive property uses multiplication. What's inside the parentheses by the outside. And that includes positive and negative numbers and signs. So our objective is to multiply these rational numbers. You can see that we don't have nice, pretty whole numbers. Here we have a mixed number. Here we have a mixed number. So the first step in multiplying these two with the distributive property is to convert this mixed number into an improper fraction. And if you remember how we do that, we take the whole number, we multiply it by the denominator. So 1 times 3 is 3. And then we add the numerator, or the top number. So we multiply, 1 times 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So my top number is 4, and then my bottom number stays the same. So 1 1/3 is the same as 4/3. Now when I multiply 5 times 4/3, we're really just multiplying fractions. Remember that 5 is the same as 5/1. So now I can just multiply straight across. 5 times 4 is 20. 1 times 3 is 3. So my answer is 20/3. Now we don't want to leave it as an improper fraction. We convert it back into a mixed number. So if you think about this 20/3, this 20/3 is the same thing as saying 20 divided by 3. Remember, this line right here means to divide. So 3 goes into 20 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. I get a remainder of 2. So my whole number is 6, and I have a remainder of 2/3. So 5 times 1 1/3 is 6 2/3. Now those were both positive numbers. A positive times a positive is a positive. What happens when we have a negative? A negative times a positive? Well, let's go ahead and write down some rules that we have. So when we are multiplying or dividing, these are our rules. If the sign is the same, then our answer is positive. So that could be a positive times a positive, or it could be a negative times a negative, because they have the same sign. If the signs are different, our answer is automatically going to be negative. So that means if we multiply a positive times a negative, or a negative times a positive, our answer is going to be negative. So looking at this question here, we have a negative and a positive. So we have different signs. So automatically my answer is going to be negative. I already know that. We're going to go ahead and follow the same steps as we did above. So we're going to convert our mixed number into an improper fraction. We multiply the whole number times the denominator. So here we have 10 plus 3 is 13. Keep the denominator, so that becomes 13/5. So now I'm multiplying -8 times 13/5. And I'm going to put a 1 there. So 8 times 13 is 104. 1 times 5 is 5. And again, I'm multiplying a negative by a positive, different signs, so my answer is negative. Now, I'm not going to leave it as 104 over 5 because that's awkward. We don't leave it as an improper fraction. We're going to convert it back. So 104 over 5 is the same as 104 divided by 5. So let's do our division. 5 goes into 10 2 times. And I get a remainder of 4. 5 goes into 4 0 times. Don't forget that 0. 0 times 5 is 0. So I get a remainder of 4. So my answer, my whole number here is 20. And, oops, 4/5. And remember that is a negative. So my answer is negative 20 and 4/5. So make sure you're converting those improper fractions back into a mixed number for your final answer.